Hello. I still have the raspy, the raspy voice. I guess that's what happens when your children just cough directly in your face, like, I don't know, 10 times a day. Goodness gracious. But it is a Sunday. But remember, it's 5 days on, 1 day off, 5 days on, 1 day off, 5 days, and then we're done. So it's 15 days in total. It's kind of like a bit quicker, because it's not just Monday to Friday. But then it also gives people another chance to join, I guess. Yeah? So what we're going to do today is the V in love. And we're going to do a fly stitch. And the way that you can do this is you can kind of decide if you want to have like this right here to be a block, like that, like a rectangle, or if you want this one here to be the rectangle. Okay. And you'll see what I mean a bit later. So we're going to jump right into doing it. And then I'm also going to show you how to whip down the center. So it gives a little like twisty look, just down the center of it. And yeah, that way we can use 2 different color greens. And hopefully it'll look a little bit rainbowy, you know? So what we're going to do, we're going to do a little straight stitch down the middle. If you want to, you can make a little line like this. I think I'm going to have mine be like that. Okay, and then another line like this, if you want to. That's not down the middle. That's what I get for looking in the camera and not like at the actual hoop. Right, so you're going to do a little straight stitch like this. It's the fly stitch on this side, okay? I could show you the fern stitch on the other, really. I could. And whether you come up on the right or the left, it doesn't matter. We're only using 3 strands for this. So 3 strands, okay? But whether you come up on the right or the left, it does not matter at all because we're going to go down on the other side. So it doesn't like affect the stitch or anything like that. Like this. Leave your loop and then come up right where you came down in the first place there. Okay? And then do a straight stitch. And however long that you make these little straight stitches, so this one and this one, that's how far apart your fly stitches are going to be. There's even a closed fly stitch where you put them literally as close as you can get, and it fills up the space a little bit more so that you don't see any of your fabric color showing through. So it kind of depends on how you want to do it. I think the other ones have some fabric showing, so I'm going to keep it a bit more open so that you can see the fabric on this one too. Again, I'm going to outline all of these in black so that it kind of goes with the create a life view that we've already done in black. Kind of like makes it a little bit all the same. I know I've said it before, but some people like to outline everything. So every single thing that they've got, they would outline. And it's like, I call it like the coloring book look, because it looks like a coloring book that you kind of color in, or like you stitched in the coloring book, you know? And that's not to say it's good or bad. It's just your own personal preference. So you can go ahead and do that if you want to with all the other things. If you want to outline every single thing that you make, you can. Or you can only outline some of the things that we do. Some of the things will need an outline and some of them won't. It just depends. And now we're actually going to do one more down here. Just a tiny little one. Just to fill up the space a little bit. And we'll put our thread just on the other side of this little one to finish on this side. There's also a fern stitch. So really, I should show you the fern stitch on the other side because it looks very similar. You just do it in a different way. Okay? So with this one, you've got one stitch down the middle to start it. That's how I always start it. But you've got kind of one stitch here, like this, and then this one is holding that stitch in place. So you have kind of from the left to the right, and then this one's holding it down, the little tacking stitch. With the fern stitch, you're going to make 3 separate stitches. So you're going to do one in the middle. This is not my favorite one. I prefer the fly stitch, but I'm going to show you how to whip it as well. So on each of these, you're making individual stitches all through the same hole here, 3, and then 1 that goes also through that same hole. Yeah? And now you're going to go to the side again. Again, it doesn't matter if you want the left or the right side, because remember, we're going to do the other side right after. So this one makes like a really nice sharp point, and the other one will always have a little, like, you know what I mean? Like a flying goose looking kind of shape. You know, like when you're little and you're like, you make those little, like this. And you're like, oh, it's a bird. It's a goose. It's flying. And maybe you'll do like a couple like that. And you're like so artistic. Because that was literally me. That's kind of how I remember the fly stitch, and the fern stitch is just the same except for it's pointy in the middle like that. So maybe you can have a better way of remembering it, but that's how I remember mine. Speaking of goose, I remember we were on a flight, and I forget what flight it was. I think it was like from Switzerland or something. I forget where it was though. And the lady comes by and she's like, do you want to have chicken? No, it wasn't chicken. Worst storyteller ever, because I cannot remember half of the facts about it. But she said like the 2 options. And I think it was like pasta or goose. And she just kept saying it. And she was like, goose. And I was like, pardon? Like, she cannot possibly be saying goose, like a goose, like on an airplane. Goose. And she was like, goose? And I was like, pardon? Because, like, with the, you know, like, with, like, the noise from the airplane and everything, I was just a bit like, excuse me? You cannot possibly be serving goose on an airplane. Well, David got the goose, and he said it was actually really good, but I just remember being like, I can't possibly ask her a 3rd time because I've already asked her twice. And she just kept saying goose, so I'm assuming that goose is actually really what she means. But it was quite funny. I thought it was funny anyways. But I don't remember the other option. I only remembered goose. I remember thinking, no, it can't be a goose. It was a goose. Right. So we've got our 2 things here. We could probably put one more, just a straight line there, because there's like nothing there, you know? But we're going to outline the bottom anyways. So I might just see how it looks afterwards. So there we go with that. That is the fly stitch and the fern stitch. That is what we're having for day 6. But I'm also going to show you how to whip it right down the middle. So I've got 3 strands again. I'm only showing you this just so that you can add another color if you want to. But basically it's just going to highlight that middle stem part. I could use a blue here too if I wanted, but I'm going to do like a blue and purple for the E, I think. And then I think I'm going to outline the middle of that O with yellow, so it kind of like gets some more colors in, you know? So when you're doing the whipped part, you're going to come up like this. And all you're going to do is put your needle underneath the middle stitch of each of these. So not the one that we go from the left to the right or the right to the left. It's just the middle part. And it's going to look like a candy cane down the middle. So you're going to have the alternating colors. Whoopsies, what's going on here? Very strange. You can also use a blunt needle, like a cross stitch needle, if you wanted to make sure that you don't pierce those threads, because we're not going through the threads, we're going underneath. We're just weaving our needle underneath the threads down the middle of these. So this is optional. Hopefully you know that by now. If you do not gel with a stitch, then just don't do it. Like, you don't have to do any of the stitches that I've shown you. Like, obviously, yeah. Especially if you're like genuinely like, no, I'm not doing that. It's okay. You don't have to. So I'm just going to go up through the middle of this one as well. Keep the same little vibe going. And yeah, that's it. That's all for today. So we've got quite an easy day. If you want to outline them all as you go, then you can. Obviously, I'm just going to do it all at once because it goes a lot easier for me. So I don't have to like sit and do it all. I do have all of the videos ready to go onto YouTube, obviously, except for this one. It's just been a busy weekend, you know? Like to give it a nice little tug up like that. Then put it right back down where you started. And we're done. We're done for today. So we've got two little vines there. One of them is the fern stitch that I whipped down the middle, and the other one is the fly stitch. I prefer the fly stitch always, but it just depends on what you like. So let me know which one you like better. And tag me in your pictures. I cannot wait to see them. So enjoy, and I'll see you tomorrow, okay?